All right, here we are, back on the J Talks, today's relationship show.
All right, okay.
All right.
Yes.
Well, we got some company today.
Yes.
All right, we got Ricky Rick.
Ricky Rick.
Hello, everybody.
And we have Miss Debbie.
Hey.
All
No.
And we have telecommunications.
Yes.
Miss Mimi.
All right.
Me.
Me.
All right.
How's everybody tonight?
Doing all right.
Let's
Good.
do the thing.
We're doing
That's
all
good.
right.
Yes.
Yep. So I guess we're gonna get this thing going.
Let's go and get it going.
Yep. So well, today
Yes,
we're gonna
right.
get into, I guess, a pretty good topic.
It's yes.
That has
Yes,
to, you
yes.
know, that I guess most people ask most of the time after the fact.
Yeah, right.
After
After
the
the
fact.
fact. Yeah.
But it could be a question to be asked before the fact.
Please ask
Okay.
it.
This question is, why do we get married? And could that be a motivation in your 20s or 30s or 40s or 50s? Well, you know, if you live long enough, it could be 60s.
Yeah, that's right, Jay.
All right.
That's right. Well,
Okay.
Jay, I'll kick it off, and I'll start off on a very serious note. I don't know why. I just was brought up knowing that it happens. Never knew why it happens. I never knew what was gained from it. All I know is that it happened, and then kids came, and then it became a family, and chaos happened.
Yeah.
I'm done.
It's just like
Just like that, huh, Rick? Just
done.
like that.
Just like birds just pop up.
Just
land
like
on
that.
the branch
Just
and
like
go
that.
tweet.
You
But I
don't
was
know what-
truthful.
Right.
I'm done.
Wow.
That is the shortest statement.
Wow. And it was so sincere too, because
I'm
you know
glad
he
we got
started
it
out
on
by
tape,
saying he
'cause
was
I'm
going
calling
to be
Guinness
serious.
Book of Records.
Yes, please.
That is the shortest statement
Wow.
Ricky Rick has made
Right.
in the century.
In the century.
In the century.
Since I've been knowing him. Yeah. Right. And you really thinking about, I mean,
Yeah.
just pondering that thing is serious.
I want to know. Y'all
I want to know.
Because I don't know.
Wow. You know, yeah, Rick. And I'm just going to say, you know, we first have to just, you know, say people get married for different reasons.
Right.
Okay. So what my reason might be, your reason is different, and the next person. So for the most part, why? I guess like we asked her, why do we get married? Why shouldn't we be married?
About to think on that.
Why shouldn't we be?
Why shouldn't we be?
Okay.
Oh,
Because
why
now,
should we?
why do I ask that question? I ask that question because for a lot of us who of a certain age, you've been in several relationships, few relationships in your lifetime. And a lot of those relationships, if you think about it, sometimes, not all the times, last longer than marriages.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So now, if you gonna be together, and that your mate has the certain qualities that you like, and vice versa, and y'all get along, you know, why wouldn't you? I mean, I know it's reasons why, you know, people wouldn't, but I mean, I look at it, you know, in that aspect, because if we can be together, then let's do this thing right. Let's do it how we've made a commitment to us being together. Now I think that's the first thing we need to establish. It's a commitment.
Commitment.
Okay. So now, but commitment only goes so far. I can be committed to the relationship and not want to be committed to a marriage.
That's good. That's good, yeah. Because the marriage is scary. The relationship you're already used to.
I mean, and then plus,
you-
whenever you get ready to leave,
You would get out without
if
no
you-
money.
well, yeah, right. That's what I'm getting ready to say. Yes, you can just walk on the way.
Walk on
You
on.
know, I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
I mean, because there's no fight, there's no commitment, there's no, nobody has signed on the dotted
No
line.
contract.
Nobody has said, "I promise to do you."
Yeah.
You know, so you can just go on and go, whether it's a year, 5 years or whatever. I know people right now today, 2016, that has not married, has not ever married, but been together 20, 30 something years,
And it's working.
and it's working.
Wow.
But now, for those that like it that way,
Uh-huh.
that's fine. That's fine. Go,
Yeah.
do your thing.
Yeah.
But I'm not being in a relationship. Wouldn't.
Well, you
I'm
need a
not.
clause. You need a clause, don't you?
Yeah, right.
In a relationship, and now there could be two ways to be in them long-term relationships:
Well,
either living together or living apart.
Yeah.
I know living together or living apart. If we gonna be in a long-term relationship that long, then we should think about. I mean, we need to talk about this thing. We need to
But
reevaluate.
things are going right. Things are sweet. You don't argue. You don't fuss. And you want to still?
Yeah, because we living a life as husband and wife.
Right.
We're in a relationship. I mean, we doing those things that husband and wives do, that are in a marriage. Why not?
Except for if y'all not living
No, it's people that don't live together
right.
that are in relationships like that.
Mm-hmm.
I have one other short thing.
Okay, one other short thing. Okay,
That's a
And it's
long-term relationship.
And
long term.
I think on the first response I made, I want to back it up. I said that hearing from you, I think most people get married because they say, when you die, I'm getting something. I'm done.
Come on, Mimi.
2 times a
I know
woman.
2 times. I can't do it. I can't do it. Come on, Mimi.
Okay. And you know what? That reality is there are people out there that think like that.
Yeah.
There are absolutely people out there that think about what's in it for me, what am I going to get at the end of the day, or the end of the time,
Right.
what you going to leave me. There are people out there that marry for that, which brings back to the original question. What is the motivation
Yeah.
for people to get married at different stages in their life? I mean, some people get married for love, some people get married for money,
Yeah.
some people get married for the love of money.
Mm-hmm.
All kinds of reasons.
Yeah, that's true.
And do they correlate to, the age group? 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s? I kind of think they do.
Well, that
I
makes
think
sense.
you
That's
do.
what you said, Sister Debbie. That everybody has a different reason.
Mhm.
And I just shared the one.
Yeah.
But you're right, though. You're right, though. I mean,
Yeah.
there's those out there that get married for all that.
Well, yeah, there. It's like we had on one show. You get asked for. I think this question will yield multiple reactions and answers. The same way you will ask somebody to give a definition for love.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
so many different reasons. Another one to add, the money, is security or
Yeah.
loneliness, especially when they're in their older ages
Yeah.
or elderly ages, and they're single. No matter if it's a short-term or long-term dating situation, because it's a relationship, but it's not marriage, because it's only marriage when you sign them papers
Right.
to
That's
officially call it marriage. Even
Yes.
though the government wants to,
Right.
if you live with a person, that's if
Common
you,
law.
right? Common law marriage,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
that's only if you have the same address
That's right.
as the person you're in a relationship with. But if you two are living at two different residences, but yet having a relationship for over 5 years,
Yeah.
10 years, or whatever, it cannot be common law because you have to occupy the same address.
That makes
Um,
sense, Jack.
So, um, however, common law marriage is what someone else put on you, not what you yourself put on yourself. In other words, someone else has signed papers for you, and you actually did never sign any papers to say on the dotted line of a marriage certificate with your own John Henry.
Right.
You know, the government automatically claimed you
Yeah.
as common
That's
law.
good. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay. That's right. Yeah.
So there have been some cases in court where that has been a presentable argument as a defense for one or another person in when they separated because they did not do a actual factual authentic marriage. And so that does become a debatable, statute. So, looking at that and going forward, we have common law, but it's not actually marriage. It really isn't. It's just what the government is going to claim you as that. It's really more so having to do with taxes and all that kind of stuff, dealing with the government. But
censoring too, probably.
Yeah, censoring too, and it has nothing to do with the sanctity of what marriage is for.
Okay. And and what I wanted to ask was that since we're talking about common law, is that governed from state to state, or is it different states that
from
actually
state to
it's
state.
from state to state? Okay.
Because Tennessee used to be if you stayed with somebody for 7 years, by law you was coming married. But they say the state of Tennessee took it off the books.
Okay. Okay.
So now you can live together as long as you want. Probably because of the stipulation that Jay said that a lot of people was living together but had different addresses, so the government just couldn't regulate it. So they just said, let's just do away with it. Because they couldn't do it if you both had two different addresses.
Okay.
So like, see, I could shack up with you, Debbie,
Right.
but use my mom address. See, so they couldn't say I was really living with you because my mail wasn't coming to your address.
Right.
So I think the government probably had problems with that down through the
Okay.
times.
Okay.
You know.
Okay.
And for the record, viewers, I love you. I hope you call us and email us and tweet us and everything else. I'm not shacking up with Debbie.
Well, yeah.
It ain't up.
That's right.
I just use it as an example.
Right.
I love you. Thank you for tuning in to the show. J Talk Relationships. I am not shacking up with Debbie.
Right.
I'm not.
Right. And let me just say this. We're talking about marriage. Why do we get married?
Right.
And don't get me wrong when I say this. We're not, minimizing marriage by any means, because marriage is an institution ordained by God, and it's not. You hear the preacher say, do we really? It's not to be entered into lightly.
Okay. We missed that.
Right. We missed that. It's
missed
not
that.
to be entered into lightly. And one of the things that came up in the beginning of the show was, it wasn't really brought up, but we're talking about age. What age should you be, or would you like to be, or whatever should I say, when you make the decision to get married. Now, I personally think that marriage, you have to, definitely be a certain age.
Right.
Anything, this is just me, this not necessarily the opinion of the host, the guests on the show,
right.
Is that before 30, I'm just saying, I stretched it out a little bit.
I kind of agree.
You should not
I kind of agree.
be thinking about getting married.
I agree.
Now, that's just my opinion. Miss Mimi, what you think about that?
I think that you're on point with that right there.
Me too.
When you're 20,
I agree with that.
you don't really know that much about what you want, because you don't know what's out there. So, and your level of maturity. For most people, not everybody,
Right.
so I don't want to offend anyone, but it is just having experienced enough in life and you haven't grown enough to be ready to make that kind of decision, prior to that age. So I would have to agree with you on the 30-ish time period, age group. I would think marriage would be appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, that's I made.
I could correlate that with an example. When you're in high school and you're a junior, senior, and you're applying to college, and you're a senior, graduate, and you're asked to declare a degree. What do you want to major in? What do you want to do with your life?
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is the most ridiculous question you can ask someone at 18.
Yeah,
you don't know. They haven't grown. They haven't experienced anything. And that's why there's so many people out there that have degrees in one field and working in an entirely different area. They're just not ready to make that kind of a decision at that point in time. So yes, Debbie, definitely 30 or better.
30 is a good age. After 30, But I had another thought. This is going to be a tad bit longer because I'm going to talk about marriage in a different time period and a different reason for it to happen. My mother got married, or they was getting married at the age of 11. My sister was born when my mother was 11. I was born when my mother was 14.
Wow.
My brother was born when my mother was about 15, 16. She died when she was 18.
Wow.
But at 18, you got to listen to me when I say the times. She lived a full life by the time she was 20, because time was different then. Because my aunt and everybody talk about life in its fullness up to that age of 20. Well, now we think fullness is 80, 90 years. But my grandmother married my grandfather when she was 14, and he was 25 or 27. But she got married because back even in that time, in the 30s and 20s, you married to be taken care of. And the family gave her family cows and different things for her marrying the man. And then she also, by marrying her husband, that husband had to take care of her family. So I don't know what you call it, but they got married under agreement or saying that this man now is going to take care of your family, my son.
You're talking about arranged marriage?
Arrangement. That's what I was trying to say. It was arranged. So so that's a good one. So why do we get married? Because if you go back some decades, it was arranged. You had nothing to say about it.
Okay.
Now we at least have a choice.
Right. Yeah.
Some cultures still have a right.
Right. So yes. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some cultures are still doing that by arrangement. But in the modern society like the United States, I agree, Ricky. You have much more option, free will to make that choice. And so, but yeah, what some of the reasons we get married? Why do we get married? It's a very good question.
Right.
You asked a question, I think, Sister Debbie. Why shouldn't you get married? I guess I'm gonna do the opposite side of that. Is why should you get married?
You asked me that question.
Oh, well, anybody want to
Okay, well,
throw that in?
I'm gonna answer
you
it.
saying something, Mimi?
Okay.
Did you say something, Mimi?
I didn't say nothing.
Oh,
I didn't miss that.
I'm going to answer that since I threw it out there like
You
that.
did.
And I baited it, and you took the hook. So
He did.
he did. So for me, because I so strongly believe in the institution of marriage for myself. You know, everybody, that's not everybody's, mindset.
Right.
But I believe it. I
Okay.
believe in the institution of marriage. I believe that, and because I know the point of why I'm getting married. Okay, I'm getting married for this reason,
Okay.
these sets of reasons.
All right.
So when I say that, because it's different, like we talked about earlier, it's different for everybody. Everybody have their own reasons why they marry. For me, it would be personally because I want to be with somebody that shares the values and the things that I share, the ideas that I share, companionship, friendship. And I know you can say, well, you can have all of that without being married. But no, if we're going to be in a committed relationship,
Right.
if we're going to be in a relationship, then that is my goal for us. Bottom line.
Right.
Bottom line. If we're going to be in a long-term committed relationship, that is my goal. Because if we can be together like that, I mean, it's something there.
Yeah.
You like me. I
Yeah.
like you.
Yeah.
And that goes a long way, after the like and the friendship and all that.
Yeah.
So now, and if I know that that's what you want, why wouldn't we? Why wouldn't we? Why wouldn't you and I, Rick, get married if that's what you want and if that's what I want? Okay, now we can talk about this in other aspects. Okay, let me come on, help you out a little bit. We can talk about this in other aspects. Okay, I've had a marriage, and for some people that has had, a marriage or a couple of marriages or whatever, they may be looking at it in a different mindset. Well, I've had a couple of marriages. I don't want to do the marriage thing, anymore, or I don't want to do the marriage thing, right now. But see, that kind of thing should be brought out in the beginning. And you know what I'm saying? That should be one of the things that you talk about in the beginning. Look, Deb, I've had a couple of marriages. I don't, I want to just hold up on that for right now. Or whatever your reasoning is, it's up to me to find out. Now, if that's not what you're looking at, and I've explained to you what my goal is, it's for you to say, well, hey, I can we just be friends? Because that's not my goal at this point. And I have to respect you in saying that, but I need to know that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Rick?
This is a tough subject.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is, yes.
And
Yeah.
I'm serious. I where
Not
I'm at
here,
in my
not
life
much
right
from
now,
over
and I
there.
can't
Jay,
get into
are you
that.
present?
Right.
This is a tough subject
Yeah.
for me today.
Yeah.
So whatever that's shared, I'm listening and I'm thinking, and I hope that our audience can kind of share my convictions to where I'm at without me giving
Being
any more
personal,
information
yeah.
personal. But this is a great topic because I'm struggling with that even today.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna listen, and if I feel that it's something I need to share, I will. But this is a serious topic for me today.
And we said this, jokingly, a little while ago, but this is serious,
Yeah.
because when you marry and when you get married, I mean, it's a lot of things that go along with that. That's an advantage. Let's just be honest. It's an advantage.
Yeah.
Insurance.
Yeah.
All of the stuff that goes with the benefits.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that, but don't let that be your mindset on why you're doing it. Because what comes with the benefits, I mean, because you may not be getting a good quality mate.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Great
They
job,
just got
but poor personality.
Right.
Yeah.
So there are things that comes with it that can actually be an advantage, to you, and so, I mean, it's really important to know, and because this is serious. I mean, Rick, you stated that. This is serious. It's not to be entered into, lightly, because then you'll be one of those 6 months, a year later, get a divorce, and now, and to me, that is the biggest mockery, one of them.
Yeah.
You done been with this person, whether it's a year, 2 years, or however long, and then you get married, then 6 months to a year, you divorce.
And don't like each other.
And don't
anymore.
can't stand each other.
Yeah.
It's something we need to really, really think about, when it comes to making a decision as to should I get married or should I not? Because now the truth of the matter is, thank you. The point that I have is that everybody is not marriage material.
That's true too.
Everybody is not marriage material. You can get married, but that don't. I mean, it takes something to keep the marriage together, working functionally and properly. Everybody, you know.
I don't think I am
Oh.
marriage material, even though I'm married right now.
Oh. Wow. I didn't. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
That's
Yeah, he's
serious.
full of short words today.
Comment on
All
that.
right. Well. All right. I have a question. All right. Okay. Could you be good enough for dating and not good enough for marriage? Huh?
Yeah, I mean, I think that
good
comes.
enough for dating, but not good enough for marriage.
Yeah.
That could be because
I mean, yeah, it's all in what you want and what you value out of life and out of the institute of marriage and where it fits into your life plan.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, you might meet someone and think they're the perfect person, and you start dating, and then realize, you know, we're having fun. It's great right now, but this ain't the person I want to spend the rest of my life with.
Ah.
Mhm.
You know.
Yeah,
And sometimes
Right.
people will be in a
Yeah, that's
relationship
good. Yeah.
and stay in one for a couple of years knowing that.
Mm-hmm.
Just until something better comes along. Or just, you know, until they feel that they're strong enough to strike out again.
Mm.
Mhm.
So yeah, in my opinion, yeah, I'd say yeah.
Okay.
That's a good point, Mimi. I hadn't actually thought about it of that because I'm looking at the aspect of the comment that I just made is that everybody is not, you know, what you want marriage material. I mean, you have some people that will tell you flat out, look, I ain't ever getting married for whatever reason.
Yeah.
You know, so if they saying it, then most likely you probably ought to take them at their word. I mean, because if they're saying it like that, you know, I ain't never getting married. You know, well, first of all, you ain't been married. So what you went through that put you in this mindset that has you feeling this way that you're not going to ever get married. But I understand on the flip side of that, there are people that have been married and gotten out of the marriage, you know, and for whatever reason and feel that way. Well, I'm not saying this, I mean, you got a reason to feel that way. But for somebody that has not been married to say that, you might want to say, if it's somebody that you're dating, you might want to rethink that thing.
All right.
Well, I think that first of all, to be married, you have to be willing to be sensitive, loving, interacting with your mate,
Right.
your spouse, hugging, holding hands, sitting by each other on the sofa, watching a good movie, and that's not me.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that sounded so nice. I thought you were describing your life.
Oh.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I think it's going to be a combination of the two that's involved because somebody might, again, you know, I'll bring that back up when you describe or ask somebody to define love, you have totally different definitions, and so one person can say, you know, what they think marriage would be to them, just like the other person would say, well, what marriage is to them. I still state and firmly that anything if it doesn't have a solid foundation to build upon, in other words, to move forward on, to describe it, and you have so many variations, you won't really have a clear idea of what it is or what it should be or what to look for, because you just have so many variations, and because you know you everybody's making it what it is to them, you know, and rather than to say, okay, what is marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And and when you hear so many variations, how can there be a substance to work toward or build toward or even move forward in if everybody has their own wrote up or written up definition?
That's good.
Well, I'm going to
Because we
comment
do
on that
that
right
now.
there.
Yeah.
Because what comes to mind when you say that is what it says in the Bible about being equally yoked.
Yes,
And-
yes.
And
Yes.
that is paramount
Mm-hmm.
Right.
in
It
having
is.
a successful marriage.
Mm.
Okay?
Oh,
You
right.
have to be equally yoked. You have to be on the same page. You have to
Well,
share
that's a
the same
foundation.
values,
That's
Yeah.
the foundation.
morals,
That's
desires, goals, all of that for it to work.
Well, I'm not saying that there's not a foundation. I'm just saying the practice, and that is a foundation. That's you could work towards something with that as a foundation.
Mhm.
But I'm saying that the practice of society is that just like love, when you ask that definition, you get so many variances. Just the same way if you ask somebody, well, what is marriage? What you get is what is marriage to me.
To me, yeah.
And
not to
not
people
what-
as a whole.
Not what is marriage.
Yeah.
Right.
Is what is marriage to me.
Mhm.
So with all these variable definitions, it would leave it that there's no foundation
Mhm.
to be presented in front. Even though there's some foundations,
Right. I hear what you're saying.
there are some foundations,
Yeah.
but the practice of society is moving forward into marriage. I mean, it's very evident. You see it, and that is I'm saying I'm saying that's my statistics. Even though I've read other people's statistics, and they seem to align with what I'm about to say too. Statistics and reviews and reports that one of the reasons why there's so many breakups in marriages or divorces, separations, is that the two did not really have a solid foundation
Mhm.
to work on because they had an ideal
Mhm.
picture of what the marriage is supposed to be to them,
Mhm.
rather than the two move in a direction on a definition and foundation that they can both capitalize and make actions toward in the same manner, making that equally yoked.
Mhm.
That's good. I liked how you explained that. That's what we're missing.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
not getting on the same, like yoked, like
Mhm.
Mimi said, playing field, like you said,
Right.
discerning with one another. What is your definition? Okay, what's yours? Now, how can we bring it together?
Mhm.
So, I mean, I don't need to add anything else to it. Jeffrey and Mimi just nailed it. But what if you give the foundation and say exactly why you get married and what you want out of the marriage, and that person accepts it, then that person tells you what they want and you accept it, then you sit down and come to an agreement on it, and then you go get married, and then once you get married, the other person quit accepting what the other said.
Well, I may and I'll say it, Miss, and if a person doesn't catch it on this show, hopefully they'll catch it on another show. I tend to say this quite often because the reality and truth of life is that life has no promises about the other person.
That's true.
Life yields no promise about the other person. It can only yield promise with yourself as the individual, because self is the only one in control of themselves. We have no control of nobody else. As a matter of fact, to go in deeper depths, even for the church folk out there, God, and you will not find this nowhere in the Bible, God does not make any, and I mean 0% of an effort to control any human being.
That's true.
Right.
Even though
That's true.
he made us,
Right.
he has it is a sworn policy
Yes.
Right.
that God will not control us
Right.
because
We
he
have
said
free will.
it is said we have been given free will.
That's true.
All right.
That's
And
right.
for him to try to make us do anything
Mhm.
is a violation of him giving us free will. So he's not mocked
Yes.
That's right.
and he's
right.
not a lie.
That's
That's right.
right.
So if that's the case, if even God doesn't try to control us,
Mm.
why are we
That's
trying
good.
to control
That's
others and
good.
have an
Yeah.
expectation
That's
of
right.
trying to control others?
Yeah, that's good.
That's deep.
Mm.
And
That's right there.
yeah, and Jay, you know that's so critical. And that's why we need, and when I say we, I'm talking about as a body, as a people. Really, if you're thinking about getting married, then give it all the time that you need and consider this thing wisely. Because see now, once you do it, if you're doing it in the right way, Jay, when you talked about that foundation, and for a lot of us, y'all know where I'm going with this, then you're required, amen, for those church folk, we know what I'm talking about, you're required to honor that marriage.
Right.
You're
right.
required
Required, yeah.
to honor that marriage. Now, this is just me saying it. I think Paul said this too. Paul said, look. Look.
Paul.
Okay. Paul said, this me talking.
Yeah, he did. He
This ain't
referenced it a lot.
God.
He referenced it a lot.
This me talking. You're required to honor your marriage. Okay, now we know that there are instances in which the marriage can be dissolved.
Right.
Jay, that thing blew my mind what he gave me about a month or so ago. But we know that there are instances. But for the most part, that's why it's so important. Rick, you gotta know. When you talk about sitting down round table and taking notes, and look, what you think of, this is what what tell me what you think. You gotta have that conversation. You gotta have that, and anywhere where you falter, you think that this marriage is gonna fall short, then maybe you shouldn't.
Right.
Until you get ready, until your mate get ready, until you get ready, whatever that situation is, because this is marriage is serious.
It is.
Marriage is serious. I talk about my divorce several times before. I'm not ashamed. It's like, I'm divorced, and me and my ex-husband, we were together for 13 plus years. More than that, we were together dating for 10 to 13 years, and then we're married for 13. So when you look at it, like that, and because he and I, we had our reasons why, I felt and we both understood that, look, we need to just dissolve this. Because it was getting to a point to where it could have wounded up, something very serious. So we both made the decision that it was just time to, we do this. But now, do I agree with it? No, I don't. But what's done, we made the decision. And because I look at marriage, it's, God honors that. And I see couples, that have been together for 30, 40, 50, 60 something years. That's a wonderful thing. And I know they had to endure something.
Yeah,
Amen. Some
true.
things.
Yeah,
but
did.
they still held it together.
Yeah.
Why? And I'm sure a lot of times because of a foundation.
Yeah.
I'm talking about a sure foundation.
Yeah.
And so when I see that reminds me of what can be.
Yes.
But you have to be willing. Now let's talk about this. To put the work and the effort in to make it that way.
Yes.
What you just said, that's it right there.
Right.
You gotta be willing to put the work in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It does take work. Miss Debbie, I know you were referencing that information. And many people tend to say the only thing. No, before I go into that, I better set the stage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me set the stage because that's gonna be a heavy hitter once I get to that punchline.
Right.
You know, I was just saying about, you know, God not making it, and life has no promises. The best thing in anything you could do, only thing you have is hope. You know, if you find somebody that you think is worthy or have proven themselves up to that point, you know, Brother Rick, as you were also saying that question, and you get married and they might change. I mean, up to that point to say, okay, they're worthy to get married to. We've talked it over. I'm believing them. You know, at that moment, they may be very sincere. And serious about everything they say. However, here's one truth about life. We never know what might happen in a person during time that might come into their life that might tempt them to change or take them in another direction. We only have this moment. Bible says we don't know about tomorrow or what the things that might happen for tomorrow. And sometimes we don't even know what things might come into our own life about ourselves that might tempt us to change. So, you know, it's even more unpromising when it has to do with someone else. So the best thing you can do in any given situation, whether you're dating them long term or marriage, is just hope. And if in that hope that is being fulfilled forever, how long? Hopefully till death. Hopefully until death. Be grateful for it and be blessed about it. But it's still, there's no guarantee about it. And, you know, and now I get into this hard part. You know, we tend to look at folk that say, you know, well, is getting into marriage. The only way I could get out of marriage, supposedly, if you're very spiritual and you're trying to go live correctly by the stipulations of the Bible, quote, Bible, then it's mostly practically said that, and institutionalized, that only by adultery or from adultery that a person is able to be set free or shall be able to leave. Okay. That is actually not the only given permission. If people would actually study, then Deuteronomy 24, and I still sometimes don't understand why some clergy don't teach the whole understanding, the whole information. It's just like I do partially do. It's just like when teaching on homosexuality. That it is, you hear this so often, that homosexuality is an abomination. That's the only thing you see and you hear abomination to
Abomination.
is homosexuality. However, in Proverbs it makes it clear that there are seven abominations. All right, and when you look at all those abominations and what they apply to, is actually covering every sin. And so sin is abomination. And if you don't know what abomination means, just means a strong hate for it. Of course, God has a strong hate for sin.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
Absolutely.
So, so I believe that by programmed psychological dictation, we have conformed to a way of life to only see things in a cloudy way. So here's what Deuteronomy 24 tends to say. It says, when a man takes a wife and marries her, and it happens that she finds that she finds no favor. In other words, she is not pleasing to him, and there's something about her that and now it says a man, no woman, but I believe I'm not too clear, but I do believe it's probably dealing with both. You know, if a woman takes a man.
Either way, yes.
Okay. But it says a man finds a wife, takes a wife and marries her, and it just so happens that she is not living up to the par of being the expected wife. She's not contributing. She's she's not that type of Proverbs woman.
Helpmate.
That Proverbs woman. I'll just put it that way. The Proverbs woman. And I'm gonna get into that part that so many people have really taken out of context.
Yes.
When a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing.
Yeah.
Y'all wait till y'all hear that.
Okay.
All right.
Hear that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Finds takes a, and she's not living up to par. What it says 24 now, and has found some indecency in her, and he writes her a certificate of divorce. In other words, he is permitted to write a certificate because she's not living up to par.
Right.
Okay. And puts it in her hands and sends her out from his house, and she leaves his house and goes and becomes another man's wife. And if this husband, the second husband, turns against her, in other words, and writes her a certificate of divorce because she's still not being the kind of wife she needs to be, okay, and sends her out of his house, the second one, and it says that the first husband cannot go back to you know how some people might leave somebody. They think
that was always weird.
They think
to
the
me.
grass is greener on the other side, and they get married to somebody else.
Yeah.
Then they try to come back to the other one.
Yeah. In a lot of cases they have. Yeah.
Okay. Now I know some people say this, and which is partially true. But it got taken out of context, as many things in Scripture has, and was in that which was meant to be put in perspective has now become warped. Christ came and did away with a bunch of laws. Now that did away means that it's not that it was actually taken away.
That's right.
He actually put it in order. When it says he did away, didn't put it away, because to do that would mean to exclude everything in the Old Testament.
Right.
We do not exclude everything in the Old Testament, because to do that would mean you have to exclude the Ten Commandments. Okay. So it's more like reinforcing it so that it could be handled properly.
Right.
What happened was too many people, men basically, were taking advantage of that and just getting rid of wives, over any little thing, sometimes even petty things, just getting rid of wives, and so correct, and so and it's just like the same with when they first made automobiles. There were no speed laws. There were no traffic. No speed laws. No certain speed. You could drive whatever
you
speed.
You could drive and drink.
But because
everything.
People were careless with it and having so many accidents, they started putting speed laws. They first was low. It was at a low speed. Then as accidents they started raising the bar. That was so it could be in control. Not saying, put some control on it, because people were just being careless and reckless with it. Same way here, when Christ came, he didn't do away with it, but he added some more laws that would control that people would not actually just take disadvantage of it. But it is still an enforceable law, and an enforceable permitment. Now, when a man find of a good thing, find a wife, he find of a good thing. Okay. I hear so many women say that. They want to snap their fingers, twist their heads, because you done lost a good thing. And the Bible said, if you find a good thing, and I'm a good thing, well, let's look at that. Okay. All right. Now, right.
Come on, Jay.
Right.
Come on, Jay.
Okay. Now look, let's break that down. Watch how it goes. When a man findeth a wife, that's what it says.
Uh-huh.
Findeth a wife. Please note, he hasn't married her yet,
No.
but he called her a wife.
Wife.
Uh-huh.
Okay?
Uh-huh.
When he finds a wife, not married to her yet,
Yeah.
but he calls her a wife.
Wife.
Why did he call her a wife?
I never
Because
thought
she
about
is
that.
in the position
In the
of
position.
presenting herself
Yes.
in character of everything that was
Yes.
that after getting to know her and all this and
Yes.
she has presented herself
Mhm.
as that person who would be a good
Good
wife.
wife.
Right.
A good wife.
Yes.
Not,
Yes.
not
All right.
come into
All right.
one. She's
Right.
already.
She's already presenting
Yes.
herself. Not just because she's a woman.
Yeah.
Not just because she got curves.
Right.
Not just
Come on,
because
Jay.
she can sex you good.
Yeah.
But
Come on.
because she had presented herself.
Yes.
Now there's some things about a man that it talks about.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Right.
All right.
That's right.
It talks about there's some things about men about responsibility.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And doing all he can to please his wife
Mhm.
and all that.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
you know, it's getting hot in here.
Mm.
Little bit.
That's
steam
all
it.
right.
You know.
That's all right.
Keep on. Come on.
That's it. If you
'Cause
can't
I'm learning
stand it,
something.
you
All
can't
right.
stand the heat, get out the
Okay.
kitchen.
I'm learning something.
All right.
I
Yeah.
hope the viewers,
That's
the
right.
listeners are too, because
yes.
this is good.
It's
Right.
good.
I'm learning something.
It's
Right.
good.
'Cause especially when you hit on the topic of find a good wife and you reference, now he's not married yet. And
Uh-huh.
I never read that text like
That's
that
right.
and received it like that.
I know it. That's why it's so. That's good.
There's another one that says when he finds a wife, he finds favor with God. There's
Yes.
another one that
Right.
says that.
Yeah.
All right.
Right.
If you remember, when he finds, it didn't say when he marries. It said when he finds.
Mhm.
All right.
That's awesome. Yeah.
That is.
Finds means you have come to realization of something. You have located. You have
Right.
discovered. You
Yeah.
have accepted. You know.
Yeah.
And usually, Jay,
Mm.
that comes from, and I just got a discernment.
Okay.
The way you find that is because if you find a good wife, 9 times out of 10, a mother is a good wife. And she's
9
already
times
taken on
out
the
of 10.
characters of the mother.
Okay.
So she's already into character of a good wife because the mother's still married to the husband. They have formed the foundation, a relationship that the woman growing up from a child have seen. So she's already know how to cook and take care of the husband and do the house and be under his command or authority and okay with it, but doesn't feel belittled. So, yeah, Jay, you're right. She's already a good wife because the upbringing came out of a good wife relationship with her dad.
That's a good point, Ray.
You know.
Yes.
Well,
And so I like that.
okay.
I like that.
I'm gonna get all mine in real quick. 'Cause,
Get it in.
all right. Cause some listeners be saying,
Yeah,
Jay,
they
you
gonna come
don't
get
talk
you.
much. Everybody.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna get all mine in. I'm gonna let y'all have it. Okay. Okay. Now I have some. I know there's gonna be some women out there listening and say, yeah, Jay just only hitting on the women. Okay. What about the men? All right. The men. Okay. And Miss Debbie, you started it off with what Paul was saying.
Yeah.
All right. But here's what Paul says. He also came back with the women on that too. But let's just start. Let's focus on the male part of it. Paul says that if you take, you go get married, then starts with the man.
Yes.
Before it went to the woman.
Yeah.
It says the man ought to be doing everything possible. Everything.
Yeah.
That's the key word.
Right.
Everything possible that he can muscle up within every inch of his body,
Right.
an inch of his thought,
Right.
to please his wife.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
All right.
Exactly. Wait a minute now. What verse? What book is that in?
That's in Corinthians.
Yeah. Go to it, Jeff. Yeah. Corinthians. Yeah.
Yeah, that's in
Like it's
Corinthians.
in 1 Corinthians.
Yes, that's where it talks about.
Yeah.
If you gonna go out there, basically, I'm paraphrasing, have sex. It's better for you to marry than to
It
burn.
burned.
Okay?
Yes. Yes.
Then it goes on.
Yeah.
But if you take on a wife,
Yeah.
or get married, actually, if you do get married, then the man ought to do everything to please his wife.
Right.
And likewise, the woman
And likewise.
do everything to please her husband.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay? But it starts with the man, though.
Yeah, exactly
All right.
right.
All right.
But I want to add something on that, because you also got to go back into the Old Testament and understand the ritual cleansing, or the fact when a woman is clean and when she's unclean. And it also even covers birth control, spiritual birth control, if you think about it. In the Bible, in the Old Testament, and you got to think about how marriage was and focus on everybody living in a large tent where everybody see everybody. They land in close proximity, probably almost sleeping elbow to elbow. And when a woman is going through her menstrual cycle, a woman in the Bible is considered unclean for 21 days in a month. So a man can only really physically be with that woman or near her, around her, for 8-9 days in that month. So when it says do everything to please a woman, and men, if you get out there and think sexually, well, according to Scripture, we're not supposed to be around that woman in that 21 days. Now, I still kind of think about how difficult that was. Did men in that 21 days all shift and go live in one tent until the women come up off of that and then come back with their wife? And it kind of makes sense, because then 9 days you could do that. If you was only around a woman for 9 days out of a month, you could be a heck of a husband.
That's it, right?
You know. But now we're around our wife for 30 days a month and all year, because we don't honor the sanctity of the cleanliness of a woman, of the cycle. You know. So, and I just want to add that that's a little bit deep too. It went there, but I wanted to cover what Paul was saying, because, you know, the first thing man thinks, well, you know, I can't outdo my wife. She's a man, I'm a woman. She can be pleased for long periods of time, and I'm a short time in what I do. Well, you got to think about how much time God really set for the man to really be in the company of his wife. Of his wife.
Yeah.
That's again what Jeffrey, I think, covered the clergy. They don't teach the full word. They have failed to teach us that in the Bible, God have set a law, order in which men are supposed to govern themselves by a woman. And the Bible, this is what God said, not Brother Ricky. A woman is unclean for 21 days out of a month. 7 days before, 7 days during, and 7 days after. Because think about it. If not, that could have got rough. Because they didn't have air conditioning.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of water around.
Yeah.
Cleanliness was hard to come by in the desert. God provided water, so there was some strict, rules, guidelines.
Yeah.
But as the word says, it never changed. You still have those things, cycles.
Right.
You still, that doesn't stop, but we don't understand the order of what the Bible teaches us about why we get married and how we get married and how does a marriage work. How did Abraham and Moses and all them stay married so long with their wife? Because they didn't have to deal with them but 9 days out of a month.
Rick, how you mean that?
I'm in a bad spot.
Yeah, I know.
I'm done. I'm in a bad spot.
9 days.
That's right. That's it. That's all you got to deal with 9 days. But you know,
that's shorter than that's shorter than Steve's 30 days.
Yeah. Yes. But no, Rick, you said something interesting now, because you took us there, for a minute, and that's good. That's good.
Sorry.
But no, don't be sorry, because we need that. We need that. But you said something that just struck my mind when you talk about order. And in the beginning, we started talking about why do we marry and stuff like that, and we established that in order to have a marriage of quality, that there has to be a foundation. And so what Paul was doing, what Jay just read, was setting a foundation. There's an order that God ordains for the family.
Right.
So God, the man, the husband, the wife, and everything up under that. So now, if that order is being followed,
it works. But if that 21 days ain't been followed,
it
might not work.
Oh, Rick.
Because that order is still in what Paul's teaching. We just hadn't been taught it.
Yeah. So
I said I'm having a rough one with this one.
I know, Rick. I know, but
you
you hanging in there.
It,
you hanging in there, Rick. You
Thank
hanging in there. I appreciate that.
I really don't feel like even.
I know.
But I'm trying because I love this show and what it does and what it gives.
Yes.
And we can't not talk and communicate because we're going through something.
Right.
We still have to share because we owe it to our listeners.
Yes.
You know, but this is a rough one.
It's rough. Yeah.
What'd you say, Mimi?
What's that?
What you got to say, Mimi? Mate.
I think it's tough for Mimi.
I don't have to come in. I want to come in at this time.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, getting down to it. Well, as the topic was, why do we get married?
Yes.
Is it motivated by the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, or whatsoever? And I think the conclusion is going to be for so many different reasons.
Yeah. You touched on that.
So many different reasons, but as society has concluded, most likely for reasons that are not foundationally based.
Right. Yes.
As reports and statistics, reviews, and concerns have been, and just your own daily outlook. There has to be something.
Right.
Something. It has to be something because all these divorces and splits and switchovers. And it's not just only because of cheating. It's not only just because of that.
Right.
So,
Yeah, Jay, and let me just say this, and to just say, the point you just made is so correct. There's a show on TV, on one of the cable channels, and we talk about, why do people get married? And let me make this point before I go on. A lot of people, most people, get married for the ceremony and not the marriage. Did you hear me?
For the what?
For the ceremony and not the marriage. They get married for the ceremony and not the marriage. And the reason I say that is because there's a show on TV on one of the cable channels that's called Say Yes to the Dress. And the show is wrapped around brides coming into a boutique and trying on wedding dresses. That's what the whole show is about. And the bride is trying on all of these dresses. No, I don't like this one. No, I hate this one. No, I don't like this. Until she finds what she considers the perfect dress. Okay. So now, we're starting there. Then the next thing is that the prices of these dresses are, when I tell you, they are outrageous. I did not know wedding dresses could go for that much, So when I say some people get married for the ceremony and not the marriage, they have this big lavish wedding, 500 to 1,000 guests, or whatever your guest list is, 17 bridesmaids, 15 groomsmen, a big cake that costs $7,000. And cakes do cost that much.
Yes.
Depending on how elaborate you are. Yeah. So you have this big wedding, and all of this money is paid out for a caterer and flowers and all that. And then the next day or 6 months later, like I was stating earlier, y'all separated. or going into divorce court. So now, why did you get married? And that's the question I asked. Why did you get married?
Well, I'm gonna comment a little bit on that because I totally disagree with what you just said. The whole people get married for the ceremony. I don't see any validity in that because what you're describing, part of what you're describing, as far as the big wedding, the huge bridal parties. Yes, there are those women that spend a lot of time and money and effort into planning that special day. But that's because we were raised as women to believe that that's the big tada. When you grow up, you find a man and you get married, and that big special day. That's where that comes from. I don't really think that has anything to do, or that doesn't overshadow the fact that they're marrying this particular person, this man or their mate. One doesn't take away from the other. I can't see that relation. I mean, who in their right mind would go through all that, and that person they're marrying basically is just a fixture?
Well,
big old stage to bed. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I'm not. Now, hear me, hear me when I say. I'm not saying it's all the time. I'm saying there are always exceptions to every rule. There's been cases like that. I mean, and if you look at it, I know people that has gotten married for whatever reason, but it wasn't for the sanctity for the marriage. It wasn't for that. It wasn't because they really and truly honored the marriage. Now, I'm saying this. Just like people get married for the right reasons, whatever your right reason is, you have some people that get married for the wrong reason. We already talked about that. But now what I'm saying is that in this case, I'm not saying it's all people, everybody. I'm just saying there are in some cases that it's like that. If the money is gone, they gone. If the relationship, the marriage is not working out the way they perceived it to work out, then they're gone. So the marriage is what? Is null and void.
Right, I get that, but I mean, you started off talking about that show, Say Yes to the Dress, and that show is just centered around the whole fairy tale fantasy that all little girls are raised to believe in, which I don't believe they should be, but they are. Okay, at least they used to be back in our day. And so to say that is the main focus of the fact that you're even getting married, I don't know if I can co-sign on that one. I haven't seen anything to ever support that. I don't believe that show supports that theory. That show is just making light of the girl or the bride's big day or special day. Mm-hmm. It doesn't really mean that the guy that they're marrying is insignificant. I don't know. I'm just not feeling that one.
All right. Well.
Okay.
All right. Well, I tell you what. I guess I wish you could have heard from some outside guests, but that's the question was, why do we get married? Do we get married? And I guess the bottom line is so many reasons.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sure.
So many reasons. But I think the more important thing is, if you I guess hopefully we can leave this thought implanted in those that are not married. Mm-hmm. Okay. If by chance you're ever thinking about getting married, mm-hmm. Hopefully you will be in the state of mind mm-hmm. that it's not considering that it's not for fame or not for fashion. Hopefully, for the sake of you, that it would not be for the just the pleasures of sex. Yeah. Hopefully, it would not be just because of saving on taxes mm-hmm. and other financial based mm-hmm. ideas. Mm-hmm. Hopefully, it wouldn't be just based upon some fantasies, mm-hmm. but hopefully it will be based upon factual truths that you have recognized that this person is very much as close to being equally yoked to you
Yeah.
in ideas, functions, beliefs, and directions. Hopefully. Hopefully. But outside of that, then it is your life
Yes.
and it is your choice. But hopefully, if you get married, you won't find that your choice was made. And this does apply, and I hope it doesn't offend anybody, ignorantly.
Right.
Or in vain.
Or
in vain.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
in vain. Well, yeah. But then there's some things in life that does not carry a guarantee.
Yes.
Actually,
So that's what I'm talking about.
in all actuality,
Yeah.
in all actuality, nothing has really a guarantee.
Yes.
And there's only one guarantee in life, and this is going to go spiritual on y'all, and that is if you, as God has only gave us one promise, that if we live a life in Christ, He promises that we will have an eternal life when this world is taken out.
That's it.
Okay,
That's true.
and that's the only promise God ever gave us.
That's it.
All right, so we're spiritual on everybody. So
That's we needed it.
all
I
right,
needed it.
okay.
Yeah.
So everybody good?
Yes.
I want to add one.
Yes, yes.
I want to add one
I am.
short thing.
All right.
Okay.
Short.
Okay.
Don't do it.
Ricky got short. He's short today. He's short with words. All right, he's short with words today. All right. Well, it's y'all's choice. All right. A marriage can be good, but remember, I leave this as last word. There is no promise. There's only hope. And if that hope is fulfilled until death,
Beautiful thing.
it's a beautiful thing.
Yes.
It's a beautiful, but even if it doesn't,
Right,
it's
it's
still
still-
a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Well,
All
I
right.
plan on getting
All right.
married again.
All right,
Jimmy.
because
I'm
life
telling you, I'm
does
doing
not stop with one person. All right.
It don't. That's why I feel
All
the
right.
way I feel.
All right. If you're not happy within yourself, it will stop.
Yeah, you right.
But, all right. But all right. This is the Jay Talks Today relationship show. All right. We are getting
Bye-bye.
out
All right,
of here.
everyone. Thank you. I've enjoyed.
Yes.
If you got it on your mind, call me anyone.